Welcome to another episode of So You Want to Read. Our genre of the week is poetry and novels in verse. Poetry is a wide-ranging style of literature that employs words with aesthetic appeal and uses certain rhythmic devices like sound, symbolism, and meter. This sets it apart from prose, a form that tends to follow more straightforward sentence structures and other conventions in order to convey meaning. However, these two can come together in the form of novels in verse, which are simply novel-length stories written as poetry. While poetry also has its own set of conventions, it is typically free to treat words more like art, as poets assemble them into distinct poems that relate certain lived experiences and evoke other kinds of meaning. There is some ongoing controversy over this boundary between prose and poetry, but for new readers, it can be helpful to keep this in mind when approaching poetic works. As you read and reread poems, notice the poet's choice of words and how they appear on the page. Instead of interpreting the exact meaning behind the words, try to notice how they sound, how they feel, and how they make you feel. From here, you might also make your own associations and consider your personal experiences before thinking about the poet's precise intentions. These techniques may already come naturally, or if not, you can apply them and perhaps discover a deeper appreciation for poetry. Let's look at a few examples of poetry collections and their authors who've contributed to this vibrant and long-standing literary tradition. First, we have Devotions, the selected poems of Mary Oliver. The works of widely celebrated American poet Mary Oliver emphasize the natural world and capture its allure to us and our inextricable ties to it in simple and poignant terms. Because of this accessibility and the personal yet relatable themes she explores, it's remarkably easy to jump into her body of work and find her poems in countless published works and online forums. This book collects dozens of her most famous poems from across several different collections, including the particularly stirring poems When Death Comes, Wild Geese, and Invitation. Next, we have Citizen, an American Lyric by Claudia Rankine. This award-winning verse novel covers a range of issues regarding racism in the United States, from various microaggressions experienced by Rankine and her friends to the shootings of Trayvon Martin and James Craig Anderson. Her nuanced cultural analyses, punctuated by stark images throughout the text, are made more immediate when written in the second person, repeatedly addressing you, in order to bring the reader palpably close to the subjects at hand. Provocative and relevant almost 10 years after it was published, this work is only becoming more essential. Finally, we have Night Sky with Exit Wounds by Ocean Vuong. This debut collection, by the author of On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, dives into a wide array of complicated subjects: family dynamics, love and romance, and violence and war, to name a few. There is strength and directness to his imagery as he describes scenes from the fall of Saigon or an emotionally loaded exchange with his father. But his poems never quite overwhelm and tend to arrive at a place of reflection and consolation. One compelling excerpt reads as follows: "The most beautiful part of your body is where it's headed. And remember, loneliness is still time spent with the world." Thanks for tuning in. Contact the Fiction Desk with any questions or requests.